What's up, everybody? You're online talking with me, Mr. Russell, PR, social media PR practitioner. What it is that I do, I advertise for PR for people of trade and artists of all sorts. Okay, so today I got Southern hip hop rapper Young Bleed on the show. He was really tremendous in '98 when he came out. He was on No Limit Records. I bought his album. I remember the year like it was yesterday. What was it? My balls and my word.
My balls and my word all day long.
My balls and my word.
Yes,
and boy, you in Indy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so people in Indy was on No Limit like crazy.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So the joint that you had back then in '98 was How You Do That with Master P.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Like I said, if I remember the song, you know what I mean, it's popping.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Popping.
Yeah, because I got a lot of gray hair. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my memory ain't good.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So if I remember some words, you popping. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
right. So like I said, how was your trip here, man?
Oh, beautiful, man. We coming out from Detroit, man. Out here, man, within about 4 hours or something like that. So yeah, lit traffic, but yeah, that's smooth setup.
Yeah. How's Detroit doing up here, man, with the water problem, man?
Well, they still hadn't got Flint straight, you know what I'm saying? They still debating and protesting that, man. I hope they get it right for the people of Flint. I go in and out of that. Shouts out to Silly Boy, Top Authority, and the Dayton family out there, man. It's my guys when I go through that. My man Shakespeare, part of the Dayton family. But yeah, man, other than that, beautiful people, beautiful place, but they need to fix the water ASAP.
ASAP. How long has it been going on up here?
Man, I want to say for the last few years now, and I mean, as far as what we know about, as far as being in the public and on the news, but apparently before then, you know what I mean? There's other parts of Michigan that, as far as they underwater, with underground canals and pipe system, yeah, it's different parts of Michigan. Flint is just known publicly, but mainly Flint, yeah.
Right. Okay. Dayton family, man. That was a big name back in the day too, man.
Yeah, man. Bootleg, you know what I mean? Ghetto E, you know what I mean? All of them boys, man. So they real good, man. And solid folks with me when I go out that way. They come up and show up and show up and show out. So yeah, shouts out to the Dayton family.
Yeah, I remember I was bumping Dayton family type stuff back in the day too. You know what I mean? Ain't that got something to do with Yuck Mouth and all them too?
Nah. When you're talking Yuck, you're talking Oakland, man, and the Loonies. You know what I mean? Yuck and Numbskull. Actually, Yuck is on my new album. We good homeboys. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. West Coast, me West East Coast. You know what I mean?
What's the new album?
My new album?
Yeah.
Okay, my new album is called Living, man. If you're not living, you ain't doing nothing. You gotta live to do everything else that you want to do. So yeah, living.
Living, okay. So you're on tour right now. It's called Let Us All Get Down tour.
Definitely.
All right. So tell me about some of the states you're gonna hit and what's going on with that.
Man, we'll actually be starting on Saturday night. We'll be in Memphis, Tennessee, man, and out there, it'll be my third time going to King's Entertainment out that way. Then a couple of days after that, a day after, we shooting out to Louisiana, Bossier City, Monroe, and I forget what city. It's not Little Rock, but it's another city in Arkansas. And I'm gonna make my way back up here to Indiana, do a few shows, and it's talks about a few others that may pop up, possible Colorado. Who else I'm mentioning? Missing. Baton Rouge. I go back to Louisiana at the end of December for New Year's. I'll be in perhaps Lawrence, Kansas. So it's picking up as it transpires. So right now we're gonna jump it off and see what else come along.
Yeah. Louisiana, that's where you're originally from, right?
Born and raised, yeah, man.
Okay, so how'd you get started in the music business for those who don't know in Indy?
Well, actually speaking of Indy, man, I've been doing this since like 1983, since I was 9 years old. 4th grade, you know what I mean? So naturally I started writing and freestyling and stuff like that between 8 and 9 years old. By the time I was 11, I started recording my own demo tapes and so on and so forth. By the time I was about 15, 16, I had some guys that had a production company. Actually, one of the guys was from Ohio, up in this direction, and had some family in Louisiana. And I put out my first tape, which was called When Dirty Harry Meets Sally. And the main single on the flip side was called Much Love. I used the Barcade sample back then. It was my first time having something that was, put on the radio. you know what I mean, out there at that young age. And eventually we pressed those tapes. I just sell those tapes in all the dope spots, all the high schools, mom and pop stores, and corner stores. So far as independence, I started there, and then naturally, about 10 or so years later, you know, I got that big break with Master P and Priority Records on the strength of my homie C-Loc and C-Loc Records out of Baton Rouge. Concentration camp, man. So yeah, way back to that.
What's your relationship with P right now?
Man, P is good, man. You know, and everything and everybody else, but pretty much, man, we talking about perhaps doing some things in the future. I'm just waiting to see him come through, you know what I mean, and coincide me on the other side. But it always been love from the get-go.
What's your relationship with old Mac and C Murder?
Oh yeah, they're my homies, man. Before the penitentiary, man. Free Mac and free C Murder. You know what I'm saying? Real love, like I say, Baton Rouge and New Orleans is like 45 minutes apart. So as they was coming up, we was coming up. They had the California access. And the rest, once they come back home, we all just link, you know, 2 units, like I say, C-Loc Records in the concentration camp, and of course, Master P and No Limit. And shouts out here again to C Murder with True Records, you know what I mean? So all of us was evolving around the same time. So we got down with each other. Yeah.
And one more big news, like I said, I'm a social media PR practitioner. Shouts out to Meek Mill, man. Hold your head up, man.
Right on.
You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say, you know what I mean?
The free Meek Mill, man.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? But you also did a joint with Lil Boosie.
Yeah, man. And True Audience, man. Me and Boosie, is family, man. We cousins. And of course, we both born and raised in Baton Rouge, and you know, and to be a little bit more precise, you know, same block, same hood. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a time gaps, you know, between us. So like I say, in about 83, I was doing it, and eventually, you know, he was born, I want to say maybe 83, 84, something like that. And eventually what we set in motion for as the concentration camp would eventually later in life give birth to him on wax, you did. So yeah, like that.
Right. Let's see. What are some of the challenges that you have as an artist, you know what I mean? What is your greatest attribute when it comes to your work ethic?
I would have to say my writing, you know what I mean? If I'm really tapped into a song and I dig it in about 15, 20 minutes, you know, anybody that didn't experience me and work with me in the studio, you know, about 15, 20 minutes, I got you a 16, 12 to the 16, I'm ready to roll. So like I say, doing it for so long and so young, I kind of mastered that craft, you know, on and off the pen. So pretty much that, and of course the delivery and everything that come with it, but the meditation and the prayer and all that is getting it inside yourself. But you know, when it all come to play, yeah, that writing skill, man.
Yeah. Man, one thing about Boosie, I also heard that you got a show with him. You know what I mean? Tell me about that.
Okay, yeah, man, we just reunited, man, since he come home from his jail term years ago. But we family, you know, but naturally he jumped out hella busy, so we hadn't been able to connect over the years. So I happened to be in Detroit, been up that way for about the last 5 years off and on. And he come through doing some work or whatever he had going on, actually about a couple of weeks ago. They got whim of me being out there, so naturally the people between us put us together and we reunited. I come in the studio, he was already working on a joint that he had ready for me, so he did. I got in there, you know, it's marble. Anybody that got a glimpse of it off the Instagram, they loving it. He do the release next month with the Bupac album. So actually, you know, it's perfect order, perfect time, and we have a show in Baton Rouge at the Bell of Baton Rouge on Atrium on December 22nd. So anybody in Louisiana, surrounding areas, y'all come out through, show your face, show your love. Yeah.
That's right. Shout out to Boosie. What up, boy?
Definitely. Yeah, what's up, famo? Yeah. What I mean.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask this too. That's why I put all my stuff on paper. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm an old head. You know what I'm saying? I got gray hair. You can't see it because I like to look young, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's just how it is. You know, but I like to remember my questions, man. But tell me about the funniest time that you can remember on No Limit Records.
The funniest time.
Please tell me something with Dope Fiend Willie, man.
I didn't have if I met Dope Fiend Willie, rest in peace. It was way in the beginning, you dig. But I had a chance of meeting Ezel out in California, you know, the guy that played Ezel in Friday.
Yeah.
So he was a real funny guy when I met him. So it was just so many different adventures between the South and the West Coast. Just experiencing with P and them, you know what I mean? So yeah, I got to dig in the brain child to just be specific. But yeah, a lot of the time, yeah.
That's what's up. What's up? Hey, but I missed my alert. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I got a public service announcement.
Yes,
I am a social media PR practitioner. That's what I do by trade. You know what I mean? So I do give good PR for people of trade and artists of all sorts. However, I do bad PR too for our community. You get what I'm saying?
No.
So if you have a story or something about a bad business who rips you off, because I can't stand people who rip people off. You get what I'm saying? Just hit me up at russellrns@gmail.com. Tell me the story, and I will investigate it, and I will put it out. I will raise community awareness. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so people have this public service announcement real quick. You know what I mean? Just hear me out. You know, so wait a minute. We are live. So hold on. So here we go. What is this right here? Boom. All right. So here we go. I started over. I was looking at it earlier. Yeah. All right. So pay attention, y'all. So right here, like I said, it's a business called L. Chapin Auto Repair Shop. That's on 3102 Guy Road at the cross section of 30th Street behind Bud's Tavern. Okay, so I had experience with them. You know what I mean? I ended up paying $500 for a $100 job. You get what I'm saying? And like you all know, mechanics are like doctors. Okay, no ordinary person has accurate knowledge of mechanic work, especially you ladies. You get what I'm saying? So avoid this business, okay? It happened about 2 months ago. Yes, sir. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So avoid this place. Take it from me. So if you want the full version of what happened, you get what I'm saying, go to my blogger. That's at tal.aaronjrussell.com. Once again, that's tal.aaronjrussell.com. When I pulled up to this place, I also seen somebody about to fight the owner or the clerk.
Wow. Crazy.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I like to report bad stuff like that. I hate people who rip people off. You get what I'm saying? So like I said, go to my blogger page and you can get the full scoop story. You can also read my other personal stories on there as a journalist. You get what I'm saying? So let's hop back into it. So all right, so let's get back to it. Tell me about some of your events coming up and info. Yeah, tell me about some of your events that you're doing. What city are you going to next?
Okay, yeah, like I say, Saturday night we'll be in Memphis, Tennessee at King's Entertainment, man. You know what I mean? We good family and friends on the strength of Omega. And my man Atrium out there at King's. So this will be my third time within the last 3 years. So it's a stop that we do on the tours and stuff like that. So yeah, starting there, and then we heading out to Louisiana, then Arkansas, and I'm gonna work my way back on up into Indiana and back to Louisiana and Kansas and so on and so forth, basically.
So you right up that little 65 area touched up. That's what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Omega. What's up, boy?
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Legacy, man, in the building. Bro.
Yep. What up? I understand you got a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. What a life.
What a life.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right on. True statement.
So how'd you come up with that concept?
Man, I share a true story with you, man. This summer, really spring summer, we finished the tour. We did the Hard Work Pays Off tour, you know, along with Omega Legacy, my man Chucky Work Clothes, Rush 1K, the homie Jal of the Kentucky area. Who am I missing? Mr. Envy out of the Bossier City area, Louisiana, and my guy Syke Pacino, rest in peace, you dig? After we finished that tour, Syke was one of the highlights of the tour. He had jumped the tour off or whatever place, and he did. He being a Puerto Rican guy out of Boston. He come in with the glasses on, so everybody I'll watch how people respond to him when he walk in the door until he drop that first beat and then just wreck the house. So by the time, you know, I'm the closing that, those guys set me in motion to have me amped and ready to do my thing. So I enjoyed seeing the whole show, and in particular Psych. And the crazy thing to that, man, last year, rest in peace to my guy, Mr. Reggie Elmore. We finished the tour last year. He actually collapsed in New Orleans, and we all was around him and iced him, iced him down and brought him kind of back. But not too long after the tour, maybe a month or so after that, he passed in his sleep. Our road manager, you know what I mean? And in particular, my guy, Mr. Envy, personal manager. So we went through that, shook back from that, and started another tour this year. But this time, after this tour, about a month after that, my guy, Psych Pacino, passed away. So I was really kind of bummed out about the whole situation and the backlash experience. But I started getting into production of Psych. We made a few collabo records and efforts to do like a compilation for the Hard Work Pays Off tour. So we started that record, but didn't get to finish that record due to Psych's demise. But Psych had given me a couple of tracks and stuff like that right before he passed. So I was really down in spirit and know if I wanted to go ahead with this, and was kind of keeping him within the family, within the clique. Ironically, he called me a Monday before the Tuesday. He was supposed to call me to try to book me in Columbus, Georgia, with a guy coming by the crib. He say, tomorrow morning I'll wake up and I'll find out the house and see when he's ready to do that. The way I get it, my guy went out and he was going to the gym. He had been suffering with different things like that. I know he had diabetes and so on and so forth. So he was keeping himself in the best health he could possibly. And the way I get it here again, he visited the hospital that Monday, went to the gym. When he came home, he sat down or laid down, whatever he did, and he passed in his sleep. So in efforts of that, like I said, I was bummed out. But spirit-wise, he left me with those records that re-inspired me. And we went through a whole lot of different experiences up and down on the tour. So I kept saying this term, the whole while, man, God, what I mean? What a life, man. I say, you know what? That's what I'm gonna call my next album. My guy was here, God rest the dead. He'll still, without him being here, he'll still want us to keep doing what we set in motion. So I rekindled myself and bounced back and say, I'm gonna come with another album. In one sense, dedicated to everybody that's responsible for my success. And definitely to my mans that just last passed with us, man. So shouts out again, and rest in paradise to Psych Pacino. Yeah.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, your record label, your website is www.trapdoorent.com.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Tell me what's going on with that.
Okay, yeah, man. I actually started a label by the name of Trapdoor Entertainment around 2010. I had a chance to sign a co-op deal with Strange Music, really with Strange Lane, was with a subsidiary company to Tech Nine Strange Music. So those guys brought me along the way on the strength of my guy Dave Weiner from the Priority days. Dave Weiner was on A&R at that time, if I'm not mistaken. And we was cool for at least about 15 plus years, and still to this day. Separated in time, with all the label changes and all that type of thing. But I had a guy, shouts out to Chauncey Clyde out in the Kansas area, that was in cahoots with Dave, and had a record we was working on called The Three-Headed Monster. Me, him, and my guy Money Waters out in Dallas, Texas. So he caught women that record just kind of running around with Chauncey and realized the relationship we had, and he put me and Dave back in cahoots with each other. Dave had become vice president over at Strange, and I was in between deals, Shout out to Seabo, West Coast Mafia, Roy Jones, everybody here. So in between those deals, I was all but stagnant. So he reached out to me and offered me a situation at Strange. So I went there for about a year plus or something like that, and ran with them. But rebirthing the company, that's the company I come up with, Trapdoor Entertainment. I call it the rap game, a lot of rappers just said this before, it's just like the dope game. But I call the digital dope game. From the Pyrex to the mouse, you whooping that mouse and pushing the buttons, it's the same way as cooking that
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in that sense of the word, yeah, you know what I mean? You got to hold your dough down, whatever your product is that you sell in the street. So it's the same. They said best on the movie Baby Boy, you're going to be a buyer or a seller. But whatever you selling, whatever you standing for, you got to hold that down. So just like, you know, from the 70s to the 80s, the original trap boys around the country, man. Yeah, lock that door, get your cook on, man. If you want to eat, you got to stay in the kitchen. So that's what that's about. Yes,
so I imagine that you got music on Trapdoor Entertainment too.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I released a record called Preserved for Strange Lane and Strange Music, and I actually put a book out for the first time. Shout out to Soren Baker. Used to be the editor of the Source magazine. I want to say over 15, 16 years. At the time, I knew Soren since the Priority days. So he was, you know, actually in the same situation far as what I'm trying to say. To collectivize people between Strange and the old Priority and all that type of thing. So he pulled me to the side one day and asked me would I be ever interested in doing a book. I was like, yeah, it's something I thought about for a while, but I didn't know the rudiments of sitting down and making a book. So he made that easy for me at that time. I know he didn't release, you know, books over the years. But for as the rappers, I want to say the first rapper he did a book with was Jay-Z, then eventually Tech Nine, on to The Game, and Glass Malone. I was the fifth rapper that he, you know, did a book with. So it's also available on Amazon.com, The Making of Preserve. So it's broke down in about 18 chapters of how that record came about. So for those that's not up on that, yeah, check that out. But pretty much that, you know what I mean, what Soren is concerned, I did that record, which would be the first Trap Dope record. Then eventually we just put out Living in, you know, February this year. So this is the second record on the Trap.
Got you. And this is like what, your eighth album or
7 or 8. Let me write it down right quick. Let me think back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My balls and my word, my own vintage I did after my own. We did a compilation album at our birthday click called the Corleone Family. You know what I mean? Called Family Business. A collabo record I did with an up and coming rapper out of Monroe, Louisiana called Off the Curb, me and my guy Freeze. So that's like 5. Then I connected with SIBO and West Coast Mafia. Did Rise Through the Ranks, you know what I mean? Volume 1, that'll be 6. After that, I did another record through a label we had together. Shouts out to my guy, Uncle Paulie, man, you know, out the same neighborhood, and we family. He used to be my manager for about 13 plus years at the time, come up with us with the count. So what I say, 6. We did 2 records with West Coast Mafia. We had a label called Detention Home Entertainment before I started Trapdoor Entertainment. So 7 would be Once Upon a Time in America. You know what I mean? I took the R, I put the D in. I say this about America, man. Out of all the places in the world, this is the most foreign place because everybody is here. You know what I mean? It's really a melting gumbo pot. So after that, what am I missing? I want to say after Once Upon a Time in America, about 2006, 2007. Then, like I say, 2010, we did the Preserve record with Strange and Tech Nine on up into the Living. So that's like 8 records, 9 records. You know what I mean? But yeah, probably about 7 Young Bleed solos you did.
To the local artists out here in Indy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
What's your advice to them?
The same advice, you know, rest in peace to another good brother of mine, Chad Pimp C. Butler. You know what I mean? He used to always say you got to stay prayed up to get paid up, man. Learn this business, you know what I mean? When I first come in the industry, all the execs and everybody would tell me, you know, this is 90% business and 10% time. So get yourself in order with God, your family, the people that support you. Pick up some of these books, learn what it is to get paid in this game, you know what I mean? And master your craft, you dig? That's
Is there anything that I may have missed, that I left out?
As far as I could think, that's everything in a nutshell, man. I couldn't think of nothing you missed.
Hey, shout out to SIBO,
Yes,
anybody else who's coming to town or out here getting it, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got Young Bleed. Man, I appreciate you for coming.
I appreciate you having me, Mr. Brush, man. Much love.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. You can find his music out on YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else with digital distribution. Like I said, I thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
I'm Mr. Russell. Until next time, man. Peace, man. We love you, man.
Yeah, like me. Yes, sir.